Today I want to talk about the biggest regret that people seem to have at this stage of their life. But I also want to show you that regret is nothing to fear. It may just be the start of something better. As we grow up, we are surrounded with external expectations of us. Things that family talk about and expect us to do as we get older. Then you've got the culture you're brought up with and the ego of people around you, which will try and make you do the things that they want you to do. And to be fair with you, I don't know about you, but at 20 and 30, I really wasn't as clever as I thought that I was. And I also wasn't as strong at choosing for myself what I wanted to do. And you see, one of the things that we all have is that we're led and expected to go a certain way, and that certain things are really important in our lives. When you listen to your family and your friends and your colleagues and all that kind of thing when you're at work, there's this narrow field as to what success is. Many will talk about money, of course, security, and surprisingly, status. Those three things seem so important to the world around us. It's where that saying, keeping up from the Joneses, comes from. And we get taken down this road. We follow it along because that's what's expected of us, and that's what everybody else does. And many of us start to regret it sooner or later. But what you don't realise, regret isn't failure. What regret is really about is the fact that we haven't really asked ourselves the true questions to find out what we want. And by the time you're getting to 40, 50 and so on, we get to a stage in our life where it's starting to change on us. If you're married and you've got a family, then by the time you're pushing 40 and 50, the kids are getting off your hands. And so you're starting to get your life back. And you're starting to reassess what you actually want from life. And that can lead to an emotional impact. It can leave you feeling lost, stuck, and worse still, that time is slipping away and your chances of achieving what you really want are running out. In youth, we follow a roadmap, but the problem with the roadmap is it's drawn by other people. At school, we're taught one thing. We're taught how to go a standard route to achieve success in our lives. And that's backed up by society around us. We all have this ongoing noise about what we should be trying to do and what we should try and achieve in our lives. And with all that stuff coming at us, what can happen is that we can confuse ambition for trying to get and be successful with alignment when we're trying to do what we feel we ought to be doing. And that's a different thing altogether. I think what happens is our thinking is guided into a certain route. And that's because of all what surrounds us and because of the way we think we should be going. And we think that if we want it badly enough, it must be ours. But is that actually right? We get set up on these roads down which we're supposed to follow. We can start for a job and the next goal is to be a position higher in the company, and your next goal is another thing, and you're moving upwards all the time. And they're milestones in our lives. We're expected to buy our house and do these jobs and go on these things, but I don't think of them as milestones. For me, a lot of the time, they're just distractions, because they're not what you wanted to do. They're what society expects us to do. And when you think about it, career, mortgage, reputation are just tick boxes, not dreams. And when you get to 40, 50, that midlife area, as they call it, that's when you start to realise what's going on in your life and reflect on it. And when you get to that sort of age, you start to want to reframe your life because of all of these false hopes and things that you realise aren't what you actually wanted. And when you start to feel regret, that's a sign of awareness, you know, not failure. Because by the time you reach midlife, as they like to call it, You've got some experience behind you. You've had some failures, you've had some successes, you've certainly had life experiences, and you've had some lessons that have come along the way. And there's no doubt, I think we've all had trials and tribulations. And to be honest, once you've lived a bit of a life and you've had all those things get to you, you're then in a position to actually make some sensible judgments. And what I'm saying is that you're now better equipped than you ever have been up until such time to make decisions that align with what you actually want in life. You may think that you're starting over, but you're not, because what you're actually doing is starting over with experience that you picked up along the way that you never had when you first started on your road to success. And the problem is that we start on our careers of whatever we're doing, and we get so engrossed on it, we keep going and keep going and going. It takes years sometimes before we realise it's not really what we want from our life. But it's only then, when you realise what you don't want, that you get the opportunity to make room in your life for doing the things that you do want. And when you do that, you'll suddenly start to find space in your mind for it to appear. And then you'll know where you're going. So if you're coming to that stage of your life and you're wondering what you have to do to work all this out, what you have to do is take a few steps to give your mind room to think. And the first one of those is to slow down. Stop being busy all the time. You need to find time to step back and think. And that stepping back isn't a luxury, you know, it's a necessity. You need to think about what parts of your life energise you, make you excited, and what parts seem to drag you down and sap every drop of energy out of you. And you need to be able to differentiate from the two so that you know what to get rid of and what to do more of. Step 2 is to revisit forgotten dreams. Now, you can't tell me that you've had them, because as a child, we've got more dreams and more ideas than enough. And they grow with us until such time as we start to find social blocks that tell us we're not going to be able to do that. It's those dreams that you need to go back and look at as you start on your steps towards the life that you really want. Third is a step that is really important, and it's one that I didn't get to till I was 56 really. It's the step of exploring what your values are, not what your goals are. Because we spend our life chasing goals when the things that are really important to us are the base of our values. What we think's right, what we think's wrong, what we think we should be doing and what we know we shouldn't. For instance, how important to you are freedom, creativity, giving back to people, as opposed to becoming a boss where you work. Now, if being a boss where you work is important to you, please don't think I'm making bad of you, because I'm not. If that is your goal, that is fantastic. But if it isn't, and for a lot of people it isn't, then it's time to start revaluing your life. Step 4, try a few experiments if you like. Take some new directions. Don't take huge risks, but try some little things in different directions that you haven't tried before and see how they're working for you. You may make a few mistakes along the way, but you might find something new there, and that's really important. Number 5 is a biggie. Now, if you've been around this channel for a while, you can half guess what I'm going to say now, because you need to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, with people who get where you're coming from, and they're the people that will support you as you go along your way. You may find that as you move forward, there will be new people who will become parts of your tribe who didn't know the old you, but are more interested in the new you. So yeah, the 5th one is really important. Get yourself your tribe. They're out there. You'll come across them. But when you do, just make a mental note. because they're the people that you want to share your thoughts with. So this biggest regret isn't about the wrong choice, you know. It's about not listening to yourself sooner. But the good thing is, now you know, you can. Listen, you haven't wasted time. What you've done is gained clarity. And I'll tell you this, it's never too late to build on something real. And if this video's hit home, please make a comment down below. Let us know what you're starting to realise about what you really want. Just remember, you're not the person you were 20 years ago. The hopes that you had then are not probably what you want now. Listen to you and decide where you want to go in the future. And if you click over there, I'm going to be talking about the fact that you're not who you think you are. I'll see you next time.